So welcome everybody, right? And having the opportunity to share with you, let's say, our ways of working and what are we going to do to support light duty and heavy duty station development and network infrastructure. Let's say most of who are on the call, I know, right? You introduced me already, Manfred Becker, Global Hydrogen Operations Manager. The second slide is a kind of cautionary note. We always have to show everything what I share here, let's say, are more or less assumptions. You should not buy shares of Shell for it. The market and the way forward will tell us, let's say, if what we have in mind, let's say, and what the business is going to be on hydrogen will be successful at the end. Jumping to the next slide, let's say our company has decided, and that has been, let's say, publicized and also announced on many news in verbal, but also in written form, to be, let's say, CO2 neutral latest at 2050. But we have plans in place to achieve that much sooner. We also want to support, let's say, the ambition of net carbon footprint of 1.5%. Let's say we have multiple, let's say, strategies decided to get there, right? Let's say with that net zero emissions, let's say from our own operations, but we can only do that, let's say, with partnering with other companies, let's say, to decarbonize the energy use, not only with companies, but also with public society. Let's say we as a company, as well as many others probably, intend to become a global leader in the hydrogen business. How we want to do it, our strategy is that, let's say, we are working and want to work the full value chain. So that means from generating green power, right, over to own hydrogen production via big electrolyzer hubs. We are actually going to implement. Here, as an example, I can say many of you have heard that we have already put in place a 10 megawatt electrolyzer in Rhineland refinery. That was one of the first steps of that project. We are also working in parallel to enlarge this electrolyzer over there. We are working on a big electrolyzer project in the Rotterdam area, but also let's say on a project to generate hydrogen in Hamburg Harbor with some partners. And of course, this generated hydrogen, then we would like to sell to industry, different industry applications, right? To industry customers, like, for example, steel industry or cement industry, or who you can ever think about needs to reduce their CO2 footprint and have a big need to get green hydrogen sold. But we are working also, let's say, in areas like marine. We are working with in the mobility space. With train operators. We're building out our own HRS network. We were working there in different setups. I come later to it with JV partners, but we also have implemented, especially in the US and in the Netherlands, our own hydrogen stations where we would like to serve light duty, but also heavy duty vehicles. Right, let's say, and then we intend to grow also in that area together with customers. We are working with partners also to provide a kind of mobility platform, right? We collaborate, as I said before, with industry partners. We liaise with governments and regulators to get that shaped into the right direction, because we can't achieve those successes, right, where we need to be, right, not only by our own, but everything starts, let's say, with a single step. So a long journey always. You need to do the first step to get it started, and we have demonstrated this, as we are, as I said before, right? We have been in hydrogen for decades now, and here you show the recent examples. Let's say we work with OEMs, building out network, let's say, as I said, in different countries to support their car sales there, right? This is an example for a light-duty car staying at our own lab in Amsterdam. We have developed heavy-duty stations in the US, where we have the first trucks from Toyota on the road. That is not only a demonstration station, that is real, let's say, customer uses trucks to transport their heavy goods from the port of Los Angeles towards more inland logistics centers. I spoke already about our Refine project, a 10 megawatt electrolyzer in Rhineland, and we have deployed our own first hydrogen vessel that carries hydrogen from Australia to Japan, and that is a trial for us to learn what does that really mean to load hydrogen on a vessel and transport it and export and import it to another country. We in Shell have gained the critical capabilities to succeed in the hydrogen business. We are leader in the process safety. We are working on many committees, safety committees. We are involved, for example, let's say, in the definition of the fueling process for trucks. As I said, we have dedicated deep experience in the hydrogen business alongside the value chain. We are very committed. We will continue with big investment, and you will see that in the future, in innovation, in research, and in the development not only of equipment for hydrogen, right, but also, let's say, alongside the value chain to make this business successful, to create happy customers, and to make it mature. We work very hard and extensive with strong partners to create a worldwide network of hydrogen stations. We start in focus markets. I'll come later to it. We are widely recognized for our project execution capabilities. We are going to build an integrated offer from production over to supply, over to our stations. And we want to be a credible partner, let's say, in coalition when we work with governments. As examples, how we have tried to shape the market, especially in the passenger car vehicle market. We have been co-founder of H2 Mobility in Germany. We have around almost 100 stations they have built as a basic network in Germany, from where 37 stations are built at our forecourts. We operate 9 light-duty stations, refueling stations in California, and have received the proposed funding to build 48 more. That is in the execution phase. In addition, we have built recently 3 truck refueling stations in Southern California. Let's say we have, working with a partner in the UK, since 2017, where we have 3 stations on shell forecourts. 3 more stations will be built in due course. We have built a few light duty stations in the Netherlands, but also operate since a few months now, very successful. The first bus fueling station at Groningen, together with Qbus at Groningen, in Groningen. Paul Carvel has already talked about what that mean really to operate a bus station. That is a quite more challenging, let's say, task to be done as any kind of light duty stations, or at the moment heavy duty stations we have in our network, because there you need really to deliver a high uptime, being ready at a given fueling times to fill the buses. And also we have refueling stations in Canada. I said it already. We are very proud to be part of H2 Mobility, which we co-founded in 2015, and together with the other founding partners. But we are also, let's say, appreciate, let's say, working together with the associated OEMs. But also, we have to say, nothing goes without governance support, grant support. So I think that is, or can be seen, and I know that it is recognized worldwide, what we have here achieved with H2 Mobility to build out and operate a very successful network. I know the critique is always, we are lacking here of cars, but I see the ambitions of all the involved parties to get that resolved. Quickly, what we are going to do on the heavy duty side, I think, I don't know who have been of you who are listening in the whole day. We know that the hydrogen business is pivoting towards heavy duty, and the reason for that are quite obvious. 6% of the industry responsible CO2 emission, let's say, comes from the trucks, comes from hydrogen, or comes from the truck business, and there is a great potential that hydrogen, let's say, can be successful, right? Let's say in the truck area, and that we have, hopefully will have a breakthrough, that is our view, earlier than 2030, knowing what's all in the funnel at OEMs and the effort they are going really to pivot the market and to bring trucks into the market. We are very committed to build out a network globally to support that business. I go quickly about this slide because I'm already over time. Why it makes sense, let's say, to come up with trucks in the heavy duty business, right? And why we think most of the trucks will run on hydrogen. I do not read what you see here on the slide. We want, or how we see it at the moment, we build consortia to enable the market to get until the mid of the 2024, 25, at least, let's say, a basic network being established for the number of 100 trucks that comes into the market, right? And in the second phase, we would like to roll out a European heavy-duty network alongside the corridors that will support the truck OEMs to fill, to get their trucks filled with hydrogen wherever they need it, right? And we, of course, go further, right? Also with a light-duty network wherever it makes sense to invest. To give you a quick overview, and I told it already, where we are, in which markets we are active, right? Our core markets at the moment are in the US, California, where we have a number of stations active, and we have a big investment program going on there. We also will reach out more to the western part of Canada to see if there are potentials to further invest there. And then, of course, one of the core markets for us is Germany, but also the countries around, where we want to be further active with the priority in heavy duty. But we should also not forget that hopefully at some point in time, light duty or mid-sized duty will also, let's say, come back and contribute, let's say, as part of the, or will contribute to the part of the hydrogen business. And we are active, let's say, in China, where we have built for the winter, or will build for the Winter Olympics in Sanjiakou, a 20 megawatt electrolyzer to serve their the hydrogen need. And of course, I mentioned it already, we have a ship running in Japan. Yeah, and here, that closes now a little bit the circle. That is where we have live 3 heavy-duty stations, one in the port of Long Beach, one in the port of LA, and 60 miles inland at a logistics center where we are already fill a number of trucks. Here you see the truck of Toyota, but there are also other trucks, Hyundai trucks and Hyzon trucks, which are filled there. And we are very proud to be one of the first station operators to get those kind of stations on the road. And with this, I close. I thank you very much for your participation in my little speech, and now I'm open for questions.